water, earth, fire, air. The four nations lived together in harmony. Then everything changed when when they made the Avatar a woman. Fact, it is nearly impossible to follow up what is considered one of the greatest animated shows of all time. Avatar: The Last Airbender is often praised as a really impressive example of what animation can achieve, even when it is primarily targeted towards teens and young adults. The show follows Aang the Avatar as he struggles to master all four elements in order to save the world from the Fire Nation. The show famously covers topics such as imperialism, intergenerational trauma, and genocide, all while somehow balancing humor, lighthearted wit, and genuine character development. The Peabody-winning animated fantasy series Avatar has been a beloved favorite ever since its original 3-season run on Nickelodeon from 2005 to 2008. Once the show ended, the creators sought out to expand the universe they had built. Thus, The Legend of Korra was born. With the same production studio, writers, and animators behind the project, people were very excited to see what the Avatar universe had next in store, until it was revealed that the Avatar was in fact a woman.
는 사실 어떤 남자 캐릭터가 아닌 여자 캐릭터잖아요. 사실 그 어떤 그 영웅은 남자로 많이 이렇게 나오는데
그것 때문에 문제가 됐었어요. 그거 니켈리디언에서 그게 여자 주인공이 여자라는 이유로.
While there are some legitimate qualms with some of the elements of Legend of Korra, it's pretty telling when people begin to pile all of the criticisms onto the character instead of the show itself. Sorry, your sexism is showing. Legend of Korra follows Korra, a young avatar, as she grapples with everyday avatar problems, the world ending, mastering all four elements, and anti-bending sentiment on the rise. Despite Korra having pretty superior animation and more adult plot lines to cater to its grown-up audiences, many viewers were quick to point out every nagging detail about Korra, not only the show, but as the character. Deemed either too competent or too incompetent, totally unlikable or insufferably pandering, too whiny or emotionally blank, she, Korra, was not their avatar. Much of the show's fan base was stuck on the fact that Korra either learned the elements too quickly or hypocritically too slowly. Korra is impulsive, brash, and hardcore. She was almost immediately deemed unlikable. These are just a few examples of what I was able to scrounge up when I looked up Korra sucks on Twitter. So I didn't even dip it to Reddit because I got too scared. If Avatar's main character Aang is a lovable, sweet-tempered boy, Korra is irascible, cocky, rash teen girl. Aang is a lovable, all-powerful kid who grows steadily into his identity and powers. Korra has to learn to be the Avatar through a series of grievous mistakes and errors in judgment. Additionally, a previous character from the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe, Zuko, is praised for many of the qualities that Korra and he share. He is irrational, angry, deeply flawed, but Zuko is praised and celebrated for them as like a champion of what character development looks like, where Korra is immediately criticized. Korra bends conventional gender roles in a very unashamed way. She subverts her own femininity. She is rash, loud, and prioritizes her own independence over romance. With swagger, braggadocio, and seemingly endless willpower and strength, she sported traits that would make her an ideal traditional hero if she'd been a traditional male hero with a traditional male hero arc. Through their eyes, only male characters are allowed to be so incredibly powerful, but also like deeply complex and very flawed. However, in moments when Korra is not powerful and quite literally at her lowest, she is still criticized. Throughout the show, she goes from being incredibly powerful to physically, mentally, and emotionally traumatized through the series of horrible things that happen to her. She is continually hounded for failing in these moments, something that every good hero should do. Every hero should have an opportunity to fail, classic hero arc. But Korra's just not allowed that because suddenly she's too powerful for that.
Been at this for almost 6 months and I can barely take a couple of steps without collapsing.
I know you're frustrated, but...
Of course I'm frustrated! A crazy man poisoned me, and now I can't dress myself, or cook for myself, or do anything for myself. And this whole time, my friends have been off helping the world while I'm stuck with you, and you can't even heal me!
Instead of having empathy for this hero and hoping that she will bounce back, fans wondered why she was able to fall so far from grace. Shouldn't her incredible power bring her back? Korra cannot literally be at her best or worst without being criticized for it, which is so awesome. I really do think a lot of hate towards Korra is rooted in internalized misogyny. Irene, a 19-year-old Korra fan from Atlanta, Georgia, told me. Characters from Avatar like Zuko and Aang made many bad decisions, but got praise for growing from them. Korra makes mistakes, but gets bashed before haters even take the time to see how she's evolved as a person. It is beyond me. Fans were really angered that Korra took on a traditionally masculine role instead of their prescribed idea of what a woman should be. Throughout the entire show, she is completely disinterested in subscribing to traditional feminine roles, and that angered a lot of people. Though she did have one redeeming quality to her, her romantic relationships. Or did she? Another reason many people dislike Korra is because she is a queer woman. Many fans suspected from the get-go that Korra was probably not straight, and the show finally confirmed this very subtly in its final season. It received incredibly harsh feedback from critics and fans, thinking that they forced her queerness into this space. Korra might have spent the first season pining over this other character, Mako, but the writers did not feel it did her justice and did not serve her plot effectively. Spoiler alert, referring to Korra and Asami's relationship at the end, one writer said, "I've become skeptical of the unwritten rule that just because a boy and a girl appear in the same feature, a romance must ensue. Rather, I want to portray a slightly different relationship, one where the two mutually inspire each other to live. If I'm able to, then perhaps I'll be closer to portraying a true expression of love." The writers were only able to go so far with this reveal as the studio required them to keep it pretty on the DL. However, upon rewatching it, there is a lot of subtle clues and hints that Korra and Asami, lovingly called Korrasami, really grow closer together in the final seasons and enjoy each other's company. While there are realistic and valid criticism of the show, inconsistent plot lines, sometimes lacking humor, that missed nostalgia element that Avatar had, boiling down your anger to Korra alone is a very weak attempt at saying how you really feel. You don't want a female Avatar. Korra had to fight both a reluctant Nickelodeon and an angry, divided fanbase for its entire messy run. It didn't help that The Airbender was seen as a children's show at its core, despite its myriad of heavy themes, while Korra was much darker and often described more mature to its commercial detriment. Korra, for all its faults, is still a gorgeously animated, action-packed, engaging drama with a female protagonist who's funny, resilient, and relatable. While it may lack some of the key charm that made the original series what it is today, the foundation is still there. Rich world building, dynamic relationships, flawed character, and an exploration of heavy themes. The writers were not looking to make the same show twice. They wanted to completely reinvent the Avatar universe, and they did. Unlike Aang, Korra picks up the elements very quickly, but fails a lot. Her development isn't about how fast she can learn the elements, but rather a story of resilience and learning from one's mistakes.